Good morning, students. I am Maya from Kana Kingdom. Today we will discuss about history, class 7th, chapter number 1. And our today's chapter is Tracing Changes Through 1,000 Years. Chapter number 1. The name of the chapter is Tracing Changes Through 1,000 Years. Okay? Keep a pencil and a book in your hand so that important points can be noted down. At the end of the session, you will have some question answers. So, this noting down details will help you to answer all the questions. Okay? So, let's move to the chapter and first write all the contents. Now in this chapter we are going to see some contents like, first we will have a bit introduction like what kind of changes have we faced. Okay, what kind of changes have we faced in 1,000 years. Next, new and old terminology. We will see new and old terminology. Okay. Next, we will see historians and their sources. How did the historians search about the different periods? Okay. Next is the social and political group, new social and political group. Then region and empire. Then what are the new and old religions? And next, lastly, we will see thinking about time and historical period. So these are all the contents which we are going to cover in this lesson. But as the lesson is a bit bigger, we will part this lesson in two. Okay, there will be two parts of this lesson. In the first part, we will see the introduction, new and old terminologies, and historians and their sources. So for the first part, we will move to the first content, that is the introduction. Now before we begin with, in the class 6th history, we had seen we mainly focused on ancient India. Okay. And the whole volume of class 7, that is our past 2. Okay. In this past 2, we will totally focus on medieval period. Okay. In class 6, we had seen the ancient period. Now here, we are only going to focus, in this volume, we are going to focus totally on medieval period. Now here the idea would be like what kind of transition had been there during the ancient period to medieval period. What kind of changes were there? We will see in this chapter. So in this chapter we will form a kind of background to help understand about the various kingdoms that arrived during the medieval period. Okay. Now during the medieval period, there was an art of map making that was known as cartography. Okay. And the person who used to make the maps, were known as cartographers. Okay. Okay. So they were known as cartographers. Now there were many kind of maps being made in those days. Okay. There were many maps made in those days. And from that, one of the most famous maps was given by Al-Idrisi. Al-Idrisi was a cartographer. Okay, the map of the Indian subcontinent was made by Al-Idrisi in 1154. Okay. Now the map which he had made showed South India in the north and Sri Lanka at the top. Means he had made the map which was top of the bottom. Means the bottom part was up and the upper part was at the bottom. Okay. Now same the another map of the same area made by a French cartographer, okay, in 1720 was quite different from what Al-Idrisi made. Was quite different from what Al-Idrisi, the cartographer, or you can say the Arab geographer made. Okay. Now the maps made by Al-Idrisi lasted till 3 centuries. Okay. And the most wonderful thing about Al-Idrisi's map was that a small area, he used to make a small area on a larger part, so that it can be viewed very easily. Okay. This is the same thing. Now about the map, the historians, when they had to use this map, they had to be very careful when they use such old things to study history. Okay. Because the method of making the maps were different from time to time. The time when Al-Idrisi made the map, it was upsides down, means Sri Lanka at the top and India at the bottom. Okay. After that, after 3 centuries, when a French cartographer, he made the map, it was totally different from what Al-Idrisi made. So whatever things we have in the history are totally different from time to time. So whenever the historians had to use, they had to be very careful while using the things to study history. Okay. Okay. And whatever that was written in the past was 100% not correct. So they had to be very careful for that. Okay. Now I'll show you the map made by Al-Idrisi. Okay. How did it look like? Now here have the look on the on the left side. There is a map which was drawn by Al-Idrisi. You can see Sri Lanka at the top and India where the south part is very large. Okay. Or you can say the south part is very big. Okay. This is the map made by Al-Idrisi. And after that, when the map started changing, okay, time to time, when there was a bit difference in the map, then you can see the map of the 18th century. Okay, this is the clear map in which Sri Lanka is in the south at the bottom and India at the same place. Okay, so here this is the map which was made by Al-Idrisi and the other map which is of 18th century. Okay, now let's move to and have a look at new and old terminologies. The information which we get in the history changes time to time. Okay. Now as the information changes, what about the languages and its meanings? Yes, historical records, languages and the meaning of the words change with time. Change with time. For example, if we take medieval Persian, that is a language, okay, in medieval period, the Persian language was different, but now in this modern world, in this modern generation, the modern Persian is totally different. Now the difference is not just that with regard in grammar or vocabulary, okay, the meaning of the words also change over time to time. Here we are talking about the terminologies. Terminologies means you can say new words. Which were the new old words and how did they change with the period of time into new. So new and old terminology means changing with the changing of time. How did the terminologies change? Okay. Now take the term Hindustan for example. In the Mughal era, Hindustan was the most common term for India. Okay, India came, the name of our country, India, came after many centuries. But in the medieval era, or you can say in the medieval period, our country was known as by the name of Hindustan. Okay. Now when this term Hindustan was used in the 13th century, okay, by Minaji Siraj. Minaji Siraj was a chronicler. Chronicler means who writes about the historical event. Okay. He wrote in Persian. Okay. And what did he mean by that? About Hindustan, when he wrote in his historical events or when he wrote about it, he wanted to mention that the areas of Punjab, Haryana and the lands between the Ganga and Yamuna. Hindustan means the area of Punjab, Haryana and lands between the Ganga and Yamuna. Now why did he use this term? He used this term because in the 13th century, why did he use the term Hindustan? Because in the 13th century, Hindustan was used by the Persians and Mughals to mean the areas around the Indus River Valley in the North India. Okay? Indus Valley, we all know, we have learned in the geography that because of the Indus River, our country got the name India. Okay? But in the 13th century, the term Hindustan was used because the area around the Indus Valley, that were between the Ganga and the Yamuna rivers, the lands between the Ganga and the Yamuna rivers. So what would they give the name of that land? So they called it as Hindustan. Okay. Now in the 13th century, the Hindustan was used by the Persians and Mughals. Okay. And then in the early 16th century, Emperor Babur used Hindustan to describe the geography, to explain the geography and the cultures of the subcontinent. Okay, in the early 16th century, Babur used the term Hindustan. We are here trying to learn about the terminologies. What were the old terminologies and how did it change into new terminologies? Okay, so in the early 16th century, Babur used the term of Hindustan to explain about the geography and the culture of the subcontinent. And that was similar to the way Amir Khusro did it in the 14th century. Amir Khusro is a poet, okay, who used the word Hind. In his poem. He used to write the poem about our country, in which he used to explain the same way as Babur used to. Okay, about the geography and the culture of our country. But the name which he used to indicate in the poem was Hind. Okay, and in this way India did exist, and in his poem, in this way the word India did exist. Okay. Now Hindustan did not carry the political and national meanings which we associated with it today. Means here it's trying to say that in the medieval period, the name Hindustan was not at all related with political or national meanings. It was only to explain about the geographies, or you can say to talk about the culture of our country. But when the term India was used, it totally changed the meaning. Now India is related with political and national meaning. So this is how the terminology kept on changing by time to time. Okay? Historians have to check the meanings of the term or the word they use. Whatever word the historians use, they have to be very careful because they meant different things in the past. Right? Now here if we talk about Hindustan, then Hindustan means totally different. Hindustan means it was only used to explain about the geography or the cultures of our country. And if we say India, then it totally changes the meaning and it says about political and national meaning. So the historians have to be very careful before using any of the historical old terms, any of the historical words, because the meaning would have been a very different in the past. Okay. Now let us understand this sentence, like historians had to be very careful before using the term. In the way, let us take a word foreigner. Okay. Now what does a foreigner mean to you? If I ask you, children, tell me the meaning of foreigner, what would you say? You would say, ma'am, foreigner means someone who is not an Indian. Right? Means someone who has come from a outside country, means from outside India. Right? But in the medieval period, foreigner meant a stranger. Foreigner means a stranger who was not the part of the society or culture. So this is how the terminology changed. By this you must have understood how did the terminology changed from time to time. For us, for the modern India, today foreigner means the person who is not an Indian or who is from out of India. Right? But in the medieval period, foreigner means the person, or you can say a stranger who is not the part of the society or culture. So that is why it was being said that whenever the historians had to read something about history, they had to be very careful with the terminologies. Okay? So this is about the new and old terminologies, in which we had seen about how was our country named Hindustan, and then how it is today called as India. How does both of the terms like Hindustan and India are different from each other. We have also seen how do the historians check the meanings of the terms before they bring it in use. Okay? With the example of the word foreigner. Foreigner means the one who is from outside India, who is not an Indian, who is not from our same country. That person we call it as foreigner. But in the medieval period, foreigner means stranger who is not the part of the society or culture. Okay? Now let's see the historians and their sources. Means here it is trying to say that the historians used different types of sources to learn about the past. Now depending upon the period of their study, they had to, whatever they had to investigate or to know about the history, they had to use different sources. Now what were they? Now the historians had to depend on the old coins, inscriptions, architectures and textual records for the information of their studies. What kind of sources did they use? They used the old coins, inscriptions. What are the inscriptions? Inscriptions are the written records on the hard surface. Hard surface means you can say inscriptions are written on stones, on metals, okay, so that they could survive for a long period, okay. So the historians had to depend on the old coins which were been made by the kings, queens and the emperors, okay, on the inscriptions which were the written record of the old times. They had to depend on the architecture, okay, means the carving which was done on the stone, on the pillar, on the walls, and about textual records, okay. So whatever information they had to get for their studies, they had to depend on these sources, okay. Fine. Now the number of variety of textual records which the historians got increased dramatically during this period, during the medieval period. Whatever textual records were there, that increased dramatically, okay. Now priorly all the written informations, or you can say previously all the written information, the textual info records, whatever were there, they were either written on the leaves or on the bark of a tree or on the stones or metals, okay. But as the periods changed, when the time started changing, okay, in the medieval period, gradually paper became widely available and cheaper. Means the paper came into use in medieval period, okay. Now people started using this paper. Because why? Now let me make you understand that. Writing on the leaf or on the bark of the tree, they were damaged by the insects. So means whatever record was written got damaged, okay. And so the inscriptions, or you can say the records, were again to be written. So as soon as the people got the paper, when they saw that writing on the paper was much easier, they started using it to write the holy text. Chronicles means the historical events of the kings and the queens, okay, about the letters, teachings of the saints, whatever the great saints taught, they started writing on that. About the petitions. What are the petitions? Petitions are the formal written request. Petitions are the formal written request, typically one signed by many people. So when paper was invented, you can say, or when the paper was there in the medieval period, okay, the paper became widely available and it was cheaper also. So people started using paper for all the purposes, for judicial records, for petitions, for preaching of saints, for the historical events of kings and queens. Whatever they got, they started writing on it, okay. Now further it happened that the things, now these manuscripts, or you can say whatever the textual records were there, okay, they were sometimes too much big also for them to write it, because paper had a fixed size, but the writing on the bark of a tree, or you can say on the leaf of the tree, was not that much comfortable as it was written on the paper, okay. So what did the people do? Look at the picture here, you'll come to know what was being done. The inscriptions were written or you can say the copies of the inscriptions or the manuscripts were being made. Okay, and the size of that manuscript was something about 10.5 centimeter to 7.1 centimeter, means such a small size, and such small size manuscripts were known as miniatures. Okay, and what does this painting have? What did these paintings have? These paintings had the text of manuscripts. Okay, illustrate. My miniature paintings were sometimes used as illustrate. Illustrate means to explain clearly by examples. Means you can say that a part of manuscript. Okay, a big manuscript, a book is there of manuscript. From that a part is being selected and that part is being elaborated. Okay, with the help of pictures, text and everything. But it has been explained, but in a very small size. Okay, and they were so beautiful that the miniatures were small, but they were so beautiful that the collectors would often used to take this miniatures, or you can say take these manuscripts apart and sold out, and they used to sell it out. Okay, they were so beautiful that later collectors often took the manuscripts apart and sold just the miniatures. Miniatures were the copy, you can say, a small copy of the manuscripts. Okay, so what was being done? Whichever manuscripts were being made, okay, as I told you, they got damaged very easily because they were made on the bark of a tree or leaf of the palm leaf. Okay, leaves of the palm tree. Because they got damaged, so now what was being done? People started making copies of it. Okay, and copies also of what size? Small size. And these small size copies were so beautiful that it was taken away by the collectors apart and sold it. Okay, and the people who made this manuscripts, or you can say copied these manuscripts, were known as scribes. The people who made the copies of manuscripts were called as scribes. So here in this picture I am trying to show you a person, a scribe, who is painting the copy of a manuscript. Okay, and he is making a copy in a small size, that is called the miniature. Okay, so this is what was being done with the manuscript in the olden days, when the people got paper. When they got to write on the paper, they started making miniatures, or you can say short copies of the manuscripts. Okay, now who collected these miniatures? Who collected these manuscripts? Who wanted it? And who were these people? Manuscripts were collected by wealthy persons, rulers, monasteries, okay, and temples, and they were placed in libraries and archives. Now what are archives? Archives are the place where documents and manuscripts are stored. What is archives? Archives are the place where manuscripts and documents are being stored. So what was being done with this manuscripts? These manuscripts were collected from different places by the wealthy person. Wealthy person means rich person. Okay, by the rulers, means like from the kings, queens, emperors, everybody used to collect this. Okay, and they used to store this manuscript in the libraries or in the archives. Okay, now these manuscripts, they provided a lot of information to the historians. Why were they collected and stored? They were collected and stored so that it could give us too much of information about the past. Okay. Now, the manuscripts were very useful. We all know, because after reading it, we could get all the information about the past. Right. But all the manuscripts were not written by one person or not written in the same language. Now here it's trying to say that manuscripts provided lot of information, but they were difficult to use as the manuscripts were handwritten. In olden days there were no printing press. So whatever was written with hand. And there were many scribes. I told you what are scribes. Scribes are the people who write the copy of the manuscript. Okay. So manuscripts were written by different people. And so they were in different handwritings. Okay. Now to know more about, to know what the author had actually written, historians had to read different manuscript versions of the same text. Now, as I have told you that manuscripts were the scribes are the person who copied the manuscript. So there were many scribes. Okay, there were many scribes who copied the manuscripts. Okay. And as the scribes copied manuscripts, they also introduced small changes in that. Okay, a word here, a sentence there, means the copy which the manuscript which they used to copy was not actually the same one. There were different, a bit of changing in that. And these small differences grew over centuries of copying until manuscripts of the... So, here it is telling that the manuscripts, when they were copied, they had been changing with the copy to copy. Means the scribes used to change a bit each and every time. Okay. So, as the result, historians have to read all the manuscripts, okay, different manuscripts versions for the same text to get what is the author had originally written. Means the historians had to just know what was actually written in the original manuscript, because the one which they got were the copies. Okay, and in the copies there were too many changes. So they did not actually know what was written by the author, and for that they had to read different manuscripts versions of the same text. Okay, and I have told you all the manuscripts which were been written, all were handmade, means handwritten, because there were no printing press in the olden days, in the ancient time. Till the medieval period also you can count. Till the medieval period there were no printing press. Now I'll show you some manuscripts, okay, which were handwritten and what was the handwriting. Have a look. Here I am showing you different kinds of handwriting could make the reading of Persian and Arabic difficult. Here there are two writings. Have a look very carefully. There are two writings. In one, in the left side, it is the Nastaliq style. Okay? Nastaliq style means you can say that it is in a cursive writing. As we write cursive ABCD, same way. Nastaliq style. This manuscript in the left is the Nastaliq style. Okay? And which is very easy to read. And in the right side, it is the Sikaste. It is which writing? Sikaste style. Okay. And that style you can see is very denser. Denser means the writing is too much of near. So it is very difficult to read. So here with these pictures, we are only trying to understand that the scribes copied the manuscripts in different handwritings, and because of this it was very difficult for the historians to read it, and while copying this manuscripts they made little changes in that. So the historians had to read different manuscripts to know what the original manuscript, what was written in the original manuscript. So here in this section it was trying to explain us about the historians and their sources. Their sources were manuscripts, inscriptions, old coins, gold coins, silver coins and such kind of things. Okay. Now these things, they changed from time to time. So it was very difficult for the historians to study about it. Okay. Now while moving with the chapter, we have gone through some of the hard words. Okay. This is the end of part 1. Now we will have a look on the vocabulary, that is the hard words with some meanings, and then to a small exercise. Let's have a look. Our today's first word. Okay, vocabulary. Today's first word is scribes. Scribes means a person who copies out documents, especially one employed to do this before printing, when printing was invented. Means scribes are the person who copy the documents, and when they used to copy when the printing was not invented, when there was no printing press and we had to make too much of copies of it, too many copies of one thing, then the scribes were employed. The scribes were given the job of making the copies of the document. So scribes, a person who copies out documents, especially one employed to do this before printing was invented. Second word, illustrate. Illustrate means explain to make clear by using examples. Means I had given you an example of manuscript, that from manuscript miniatures were made. Miniatures means a part from the manuscript was taken and from it was illustrated. A part of manuscript was illustrated with the help of charts and pictures. So illustrate, explain to make something clear by using examples of charts and pictures. Okay, next word, terminologies. Terminologies means to study about new words. You can count it as to study about new words and how to use them. So terminologies, the study of terms and their use. Next is chronicles, a factual written account of important or historical events in the order of their occurrence. Means how did the historical events occur? Which event occurred first, then the second, then the third. So that is called the chronicle order, chronicle series. Okay, so what is chronicle? Chronicle is an written account, factual. Factual means real written account, okay, of the historical events and in an order of their occurrence. Next word is petition. Petition means a formal written request, okay, typically one signed by many people, appealing to authority in respect of a particular cause. What is petition? A formal written request, typically one signed by many people, appealing to authority in respect of a particular cause. And our today's last word is archives. Archives means a place where historical documents of record are being kept. What is archives? Archives are the place where historical documents of records are being kept. So this is our today's vocabulary. I'll read the words for you once more. First word, scribes, illustrate, terminologies, chronicles, petition and archives. Let's have a look on the today's exercise with some question answers and fill in the blanks. Our today's first question, who is a cartographer? Who is a cartographer? What is a cartographer? A cartographer is a person who makes map of an area. Who is a cartographer? Cartographer is a person who makes map of an area. Have you written the answer? I repeat once more. Who is a cartographer? Cartographer is a person who makes map of an area. Next, the next is a fill in the blanks. Place name in Al-Adrisi's map was marked in. Al-Adrisi made the map in 1154. I had told you. Okay. Now the map which he made, he mentioned the name of some places in that. Now that places were marked in which language? They were marked in Arabic. Which language? Arabic language. Okay. Or you can write it as Arabic. So what will be the answer? I'll read the full sentence for you. Place names in Al-Idrisi's map was marked in Arabic. Okay. Ajnabi. Next is Ajnabi is a dash word used for a stranger. Ajnabi is a Persian word. Ajnabi is a Persian word used for a stranger. Okay. Next, what are archives? Archives are the place where historical documents or records are kept. What are archives? Archives are the historical documents or records where they are being kept. The place where historical documents or records are kept. This is called as archives. Next, manuscripts are copied by. Who copied the manuscripts? When the printing press was not invented? Scribes. Answer is scribes. Manuscripts are copied by scribes. The dash style of writing is cursive and easy to read. I had shown you two manuscripts. One was Nastaliq and other was Shikasta. Okay. Now from that, which style of writing was cursive and easy to read? Nastaliq. N-A-S-T-A-L-I-Q. So the answer, I'll read the whole sentence for you with the answer. The Nastaliq style of writing is cursive and easy to read. What are manuscripts? The next question is, what are manuscripts? So what are manuscripts? Manuscripts are, you can say, a document, a handwritten document rather than typed or printed. Manuscripts are the handwritten document rather than typed or printed. And our today's last question, who collected the manuscripts? Who collected? Manuscripts were collected by wealthy people, rulers, monasteries and temples. Manuscripts were collected by wealthy people, rulers, monasteries and temples. Okay? So by this, our today's first part of chapter 1 history is over. Meet you soon in the second session, second part of history again. By that time, please read all the question answers, try to understand all the word meanings and take care of your health. That is the must nowadays. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.